squad. Rescue squad has been requested. South of Highway 60.
That's the sound that starts it all. Your neighbors. Members of the Cedarburg Fire Department stop what they're doing and begin their response to an emergency situation. House fire, car accident, heart attack. Someone has dialed 911 and needs help. With over 70 active members, the CFD has the tools, knowledge, and experience to put out a fire, rescue a trapped person, or save a life. Hi, I'm John Armbruster, and I'm going to take you inside the CFD. You're going to see how these volunteers, your neighbors, train, practice, and respond to emergencies, day or night, in any kind of weather. We've all heard the siren, watched the trucks go by, and wondered what was going on. Well, come on along. I'm going to show you what they do. In September 2006, the driver of this semi suffered a heart attack, ran off the road, and crashed into a house. The truck hit the house's gas meter and sent natural gas spewing from underneath the rig.
Stockville will be running at Cedarburg Tank 1. When they get here, I want you to have them set up with our engine 161 for supply.
I was first one there. I took command, as we always do. The ranking officer that's first on scene takes command. Chief Van Dinner, Chief Oschholz, Chief Gertz had arrived on the scene. We kind of formed a plan of action. I didn't want any of our people to get hurt. And so it was, at that point, you observed the driver in the semi, but yet you had to take your time that no one went rushing up to the semi and the natural gas ignited.
We were tasked with basically getting them out. It was a three-man crew. We were all EMTs, we're all extrication certified, and it was our job to find a way to get them out as safely and quickly as possible.
They took a Stokes basket up to the semi. They forced entry at the driver's door, established that the driver was pulseless, non-breathing. They loaded them into the Stokes basket, dragged them back to a safe distance, and started CPR and medical treatment on the victim.
Flight for Life was called and landed right out front, but ultimately didn't transport the victim. Despite CFD's efforts, the victim died at the scene. In November 2005, CFD was called in to help Grafton with a traffic accident on I-43. One of the victims was trapped inside his vehicle when they arrived.
As soon as I hit the scene, I got to think what I got to grab, who my crew is, what's going on, what command needs us to do. Every situation is different. You can't plan for every type of incident that you're going to be responding to, and that's why we train to be smart and to react to situations.
I asked Grafton what they had done prior to us getting on scene, and they've tried cutting things. They've used certain other tools that weren't working, and the configuration of this work truck required more than just your basic cutting tools. I used this tool. It takes a little bit of strength to do it. It's an awkward tool to operate. It's heavy. You are concerned for the patient because where we were cutting, his head was in a certain spot. And if I went too far, I would make contact with the patient. So over the noise of the saw and running the saw, I'm trying to listen to someone else tell me when to stop or to start turning with the saw and continuing to cut. It's one thing to take a saw and just cut the back of a car open or something, but when you have a patient sitting in there, it's a little added stress level to it that you don't want to slip and do more damage or possibly even kill the patient.
Later that month, the CFD dive team was asked to help rescue a father and daughter that had fallen through the ice on a Cedar Grove pond.
That was one of the hardest calls that I've ever been on. It was a call where there was you felt a lot of futility. You knew they were there. You didn't know where they were there. And there was nothing you could do. We were doing search patterns. We were doing as much as humanly possible, but the results weren't there. And you were working against the clock.
I like going a little bit in harm's way and getting into the water and contributing. I feel very comfortable in that. It's almost like a second nature to me. And just hopping in there and I know I can contribute is the satisfaction I get from doing it.
It was a tragedy. And anybody that has kids, that could have been you and your kids. And yeah, that one kind of hit home.
When discarded ashes started this garage fire, several of the chief officers responded directly to the scene and established command. A second page went out.
Fire department, additional personnel are needed to respond to the firehouse for a working structure fire in the city.
Truck 163, the primary attack engine, was first to arrive on the scene. And an 18-year-old rookie was the first one off.
That was my first working fire out of school. It was interesting because everything that I've learned from school clicked. I didn't have to think about it. It was just a natural reaction to, we have a lot of fire, we need a lot of water. Well, I need a big hose. So without even thinking, you pull a big hose, get big water there.
As the rest of the department arrived, they set up water supply with truck 164. This pumper tanker carries 2,000 gallons of water that's used to supply the attack engine. It also connects to a fire hydrant for a constant flow of water. The garage was a total loss, as was a vintage car stored inside. The good news is that the fire didn't spread to the main house and further damage was averted. Having a fire in the town has its own set of challenges. When a barn at the old Retzloff's farm caught fire, CFD needed water, so they set up a water shuttle.
That portion of our response area does not have a hydrant system or a pressurized water system. We use a water shuttle system. What we will do is go to a designated hydrant, and typically a mutual aid company will place an engine at that hydrant to draw water out of our municipal water system. They will fill up tankers that come up. The tankers will come up to the scene of the fire. Some large folding tanks, some people refer to them as small swimming pools, are set up in the roadway, and a fire truck actually draws water out of that tank, pumps it up the driveway, up a 5-inch hose to the fire truck that is attacking the fire. We did call in some mutual aid, some help from the city of Cedarburg with some heavy equipment from the Department of Public Works. They were able to rip the aluminum apart, and the beams that were down where the hidden fire was underneath. Also inside was a couple of hay wagons that actually were filled with hay. The hay was burning. Hay is something that's extremely difficult to put out. It goes back, in my opinion, to the training of not only the men and women of our department, but working with our neighbors and mutual aid companies that we work so well together here in Ozaukee County, and I think that's a big plus for everybody. It's a plus for our members and also for our community. For the school bus accident, right away your mind goes to that time of a day of a school bus loaded with young children.
I have a school bus accident. It's a school bus versus house versus tree. The only occupant on the bus is the driver. She was out of the bus upon our arrival. She is complaining of leg pain, back pain. She has some lacerations and contusions to the face. We have extensive damage to the front of the bus from striking a house and then into a clump of trees. We're in the process of boarding her right now. She is conscious and alert. As soon as I can get some vitals, I will get them to you, but we'll only have one patient from this MVA. Sounds great. Just keep us posted. Image clear.
The other problem we had to address was the damage to the house. There was some wires that were involved. You could actually look into the living room of the house. It had knocked so many of the blocks away from the side.
151 to Cedarburg will be 10-8-1076, Columbia St. Mary's. 10.
All these incidents show that Cedarburg Fire Department is there when you need them. A call goes out and they arrive, but it's not that simple. Training is what makes the difference. Fire suppression training, extrication, dive team, all that makes CFD as good as it is. Take firefighting, for example. I'm standing where a house once stood. Before the owner had it demolished and hauled away, he donated it so firefighters could practice different scenarios in a real-world environment.
We deal with the two most destructive forces on Earth, water and fire. And boy, you let either one of those get out of proportion, we're going to have trouble somewhere.
The fire came up and it had nice roll over itself.
We tried to make the trainings as realistic as possible and have our crews go in and work in coordination with each other to come in and do fire attack and search and rescue, do ventilation, and carry it all the way through to firefighter rehabilitation, where their vitals are assessed when they come out of these trainings, and they're rehydrated and they're checked over, and they get accustomed to that type of operating procedure.
One thing we need to do at every structural fire, we have to investigate it for the origin of the fire and the cause of the fire.
I told you this morning that we were going to have a variety of things so you could see how the heats and different things affected it. And as you walk in here, you're going to be able to see in the closet that the heat affected all the plastic hangers. They all either distorted or melted or started on fire. They dropped to the floor. We had a plastic Rubbermaid container with Christmas ornaments and magazines and stuff, phone book on top of that. You'll see that there was enough heat to melt the container, but there wasn't enough to ignite any of the cardboard or any of the phone book or any of those kinds of things. So you can see the difference in the amount of heat levels. In the shower, you can see that the fire got in there and some of the white metal and the fittings that are in there failed as a result of the heat, and so the showers collapsed to the inside. And the whole key is that all these things have reference material available to tell you what aluminum weakens at, what white metal weakens at, what that kind of plastic softens at. And there's reference books for that, so we can start to look at it and we can start to determine what our temperature was at floor level in here versus what our temperature at the ceiling was.
It's not just structure fires they train for. Grass fire training is just as important. And I bet you'd never expect a broom to be more powerful than a high-pressure water hose. Brooms, water packs, and the grass fire truck are what it takes to get the job done. CFD trains extensively for rescue calls. 153 is their heavy rescue squad. It carries all the tools necessary for extrication, the freeing of someone trapped after a car accident. With these tools, firefighters can literally take a car apart.
When you look at an accident, it's nothing like what you picture, because it's not the 1995 Honda Civic anymore. It's a pile of twisted metal with some very real people in it.
Stabilization, battery disconnect, glass management. Those are the first three steps.
Breaking glass!
Only cuts on the pull, so pushing it, just push it in lightly.
Extrication's a challenge. There's a lot of very basic rules. There's a lot of field decisions that have to be made.
I got to get my rescuer in here. I got to get an EMS person in here. It's got to happen through the windshield, okay?
So where do we cut?
Well, I want you to cut when you come up the sides. What I want you to do is and that was floppy, but you can see you can get a lot closer, okay?
We try to give our folks the ability to follow those sets of rules and that definitive game plan, but also have enough knowledge that they'll be able to make changes out in the field that are going to benefit themselves, keep them safe, and then also ultimately get a patient out of a car quicker and off to a hospital.
This is a skill that you guys are going to just get better and better at. You know what to look for now, right? Get the patient out. Get him out safely. Don't hurt any of my guys. We've got a vehicle on its roof. They can only access the vehicle from its rear. This would be a rollover. They're not allowed to access the driver's compartment through the side doors. Once stabilization, glass, and batteries have been taken care of, they will perform an operation that we call tunneling. Basically, they'll start at the rear of the vehicle, they'll remove the hatchback, they will remove the seats, any cargo, or what have you, and then they'll get to the back We're telling them that they have a driver that is trapped in the driver's seat, belted in. They'll either cut the seat back out or they'll take the entire seat out, and then we'll be able to extricate the patient.
Rescuers also train for the extraordinary, like here in this quarry. By using mannequins as victims, rescue personnel are challenged to free someone who is trapped inside a machine.
All right, I'm going to try and help pull him. 1, 2, 3, 4. Scoop stretcher?
Scoop.
Yes. We're going to roll him onto the scoop and then hand him down. Climb off and do a 6-person lift? Absolutely. Yep. Marvelous. What's the other side?
Watch the bolt.
Watch the bolt here.
One more step, Grant. Excellent.
They also worked to free someone who had been partially buried by gravel.
He's going to slide when we move this truck.
Right.
He's going to slide down.
Underneath, yeah. Oh, we can get some help in here to get the
truck out of here. Now watch his legs, because they're probably crushed. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah, I want it flat. Keep going. Got him? Got him?
1, 2, 3.
Just take the spider straps and restrap them.
Worked out perfectly.
CFD also has a dive team. With all the ponds, quarries, and Cedar Creek running through the area, there's a potential for water rescue.
We train 6 times a year. We have 12 divers on the team, ranging from PADI instructors to just open water divers. Trainings really are based on what's coming up. Like if it's near winter time, we start practicing on the surface ice rescue and also ice diving.
Okay, need a little help? Walk it out, walk them out. We're going to walk it out. Hang on. Walk it out. Stop. Good. Very good.
When your things are thawing out, then you get more possibly the swift waters with higher water, and that's when we base our trainings on swift water and work in Grafton and in Cedarburg.
I've been advised you got one on the way.
When it's a little too cool and you can start getting into the indoor pool and then also get your training and buoyancy and all that taken care of.
I don't want it to happen, but if it's going to happen, I guess I'd rather it be me there. But that's true of rescue, that's true of fire, anything else. I don't want it to happen. I mean, that's the nature of this. You wish yourself out of a job. But if it's going to happen, we all want to be there.
There's one last group you need to meet, the engineers. Their job is to drive and operate the truck. They pump the water, set the pressure, even add special firefighting foam.
Right, our pump operators have to continually train. They train once a month, and because we don't have that many fires, we have to keep up.
It's a wide relief to pressure. Once we turn this big one on, you have to release the pressure. You want to shut it down because there's water coming up the hole.
We end up practicing actually our hydrant hookup, being able to hook up in what we call a city setting where we might have a fire in residence in the city, and we have to make sure we can get to the water supply from the city hydrant. Practice hooking it up. How far away from the hydrant are they? Or is there a car pretty close to it that the engine can't get that close to the hydrant for hookup? On a rural setting, then it's just the opposite. We have to be able to make sure that the truck gets in close enough to be able to draft the water out of that portable tank. So there's 2 different scenarios that we have to deal with, and we have to practice on that constantly. Not only do we use the aerial just for getting up to a roof to do ventilation, we also use it for master stream operations where we're flowing water through it. And both of those scenarios take a different type of operation. So you have to be proficient when you're operating this piece of equipment.
CFD spends a lot of time on training, but they also spend their time helping the community in many ways that people aren't aware of. In the summer months, you will find a fully staffed rescue squad at many of the area's large events. They stand by at the Drum and Bugle Corps Musical Celebration, Maxwell Street Days, County Fair, at the high school during graduation, and during the 4th of July fireworks. No one knows when they'll be called into service, and sometimes it can happen when they least expect it.
You're not expecting it. You are expecting it, but you're not. You know, it got paged out that someone had fallen, and it was right on the parade route. There are so many bystanders by that we didn't need all that distraction right then. So get her up, get her in the rig, and we can start doing our assessment in the rig. You know, make sure we stabilize the area that's injured and get her in a more controlled environment than being outside the rig with that crowd that was there.
In 2004, they were called upon to help prevent flooding from the swollen Cedar Creek. They sandbagged around a home and here at the old mill. They are also a part of an agreement with other local fire departments. It's called mutual aid. They help us, we help them.
With all of the departments in the county being volunteer, there is times when you do need to call for that help. You have a large fire, a large car accident where you need additional medical people, additional ambulances. It's helping neighbors. And without that, it would be very, very difficult to survive in our county just due to the lack of the manpower, especially during the day, where you know that you can count on your neighbors coming to help you from other communities.
There is also the practice of backfilling another department's station. For example, when Mequon had a structure fire and asked for mutual aid, CFD responded with their equipment and manpower. CFD called the Saukville Fire Department to stand by at Station 1, just in case something were to happen here in Cedarburg. They call it Pub Ed, short for public education, getting grown-ups and kids to think about fire safety. Lieutenant Scott Eidelman is in charge of the Pub Ed unit.
Our mission here at the department is to protect people's lives, health, and property, and the best way to do that is to prevent fires, prevent injuries before they occur. We offer training to people of all ages. We have second graders come in and do a Survive Alive training. This is our Survive Alive house, okay? And in here we train kids just like yourselves what to do if you're in your bedroom and the smoke alarm goes off. You need to know if you're going to go out your door or out your window, and then what you do when you get out of your house. On one half of the house is a bedroom with a closet and carpet and bed and furniture with different kinds of windows, and in that portion we teach the kids how to unlock and open different types of windows, the windows they're likely to have in their house. We teach them how to get out of the bed, stay low, go over to the door, feel the door for heat. If it's cool, they can go through that and out the house. If it's warm, they need to open up one of the windows and go out that way. And once they're outside, then they know to go to a neighbor's house, ring the doorbell, call 911. And we need to do what?
Borrow your phone.
And to call who? 911. It's going to go to the police department, right? Very good.
You think we want to get dressed fast?
We do a demonstration with gear where the kids actually tell the firefighter what to put on first, what to put on second. And as we have the firefighter go through the gear and put it on, we also have someone telling them why the firefighter wears that. When the firefighter is done putting on all the gear, they know what he's going to look like or she's going to look like with a mask on, with the air tank, what they're going to sound like. And as we teach them about our gear, we're teaching them about fire safety. He's breathing the air from his tank. Safety Day, it's the end of Fire Prevention Week, which is usually the second week of October. The highlight, perhaps, is we have Flight for Life helicopter coming in. In addition, we put on a bunch of demonstrations. We do an extrication demonstration with the hydraulic tools on a vehicle. We do stove fire demonstrations where people can actually come and put out the stove fire in a couple different ways. Kitchen fires are very prevalent. We have a variety of other events and exhibits. There are things for the kids. We have all of our vehicles up there, new and old, and the kids are allowed to walk around, ask questions about anything. It's a great opportunity for the kids. And you'd be surprised, the parents as well learn a lot that they didn't know either about our department or about our vehicles and equipment.
In 2005, CFD welcomed 2 new arrivals to their family. Station 2, just north of Five Corners, was built to decrease response time for calls north of Highway 60.
As the community grows, the challenge of the fire services increases. And by adding this station to our arsenal of equipment and resources, it will only make us better.
They also dedicated their newest fire truck, 161. Part of that dedication included a wet down. All the fire departments from Ozaukee County sent one of their trucks to help christen the new fire engine, and the committee that made it happen. Fire trucks are expensive, in the $500,000 range. So how do they afford such expensive equipment? Well, like other nonprofit organizations, they hold a fundraiser.
Maxwell Street Days is our department's largest fundraiser, with the sale of over 1,000 rental spaces along with food and beverages on the grounds. We're able to earn money to buy fire trucks that we have, along with the safety equipment our firefighters and EMTs wear. With that, we take the burden off the taxpayers for buying the big capital expenditures, which helps us become more of a self-sufficient department. We do 4 events every year, but what people don't realize is out of the 4 events, there's actually a total of 5 days involved. We're putting in 20 days up here at the park. The kitchen usually starts about 5 a.m. They start cooking burgers. The brat stands have now started about 5:30 in the morning. As 6 o'clock comes around, you can tell it's getting close because there's a crowd at least 5, 6 deep waiting at the gates to get in.
If it wasn't for the money that we earned up at Maxwell Street Days, all the capital equipment that we currently have purchased by the funds that we raise at Maxwell Street Days would have to be borne by the taxpayers. And if we weren't a volunteer fire department and became a career department, the salaries alone would be between $2 and $2.5 million. That cost also would be borne by the taxpayers.
Keeping this department volunteer means they are always on the lookout for new members. They host open house and recruitment days as a way to get their message out.
They're on the backboard, they're strapped in, they're completely immobilized. Normally they would have a collar on also to stabilize their neck. So that's kind of what just gives you an idea of what it would look like. It's not the most comfortable, but we're there to try and make sure there's no paralysis or anything that happens from their injury.
You see a lot of camaraderie around here, and I've met a lot of great people through here. And it's such a good feeling knowing that you're doing something for the community and giving back.
High school students have an opportunity to serve by becoming an explorer. Explorers respond to fire calls to help with incident management, accountability, and firefighter rehab. They are taught the basics of firefighting and get to train right alongside the rest of the department.
Just go up and grab a new spot, and then take your broom, just pick a spot, start working the fire out there, right? And once you get it put out, then you got a place to stand to keep walking it up, okay?
You do a lot of things that regular 14 through 18-year-olds can't do. You get to experience a lot of situations as well.
You can try sports and doing all that stuff, but there's nothing like throwing on that bunker gear, jumping on a truck, and flying red lights and sirens through a city to help somebody out. So you can't beat it.
The CFD is made up of your neighbors, local business owners, city and town employees, teachers, moms, dads, and their kids. Anyone who wants to make a difference in the community. Even my great-grandfather served with the department for 39 years as secretary in the early 1900s. They are steeped in tradition, history, and service. So if you're interested in joining the CFD, please call the department or contact your neighbors. They'd be delighted to tell you what a rewarding experience this can be. Well, there you have it. For the entire Cedarburg Fire Department, thanks for watching.